Okay, so as for the tape portion, here we go. So we're going to start off here with some tackling and some of the other stuff that doesn't exactly get as much, I guess, attention, right, as like coverage does, and rightfully so. I get it, but at the same time, these other parts of players game is important, and there's usually your upper echelon guys kind of have the whole package, and as you go down the list, some of these things start to fall off, right? So I wanted to make sure that I highlighted everything that Chris Johnson brings to the table. So uh, we're going to start here with a play. He's at the top of the screen here, and what's going to happen is there's going to be some kind of like fluky, bobble, and the ball's going to pop up in the air, and his teammate ends up with a pick. And if you watch, Chris Johnson saw it, and he instantly turns into a blocker. Now again, he's keeping that wide receiver at bay. And again, this isn't his pick. He could have been, a cheerleader and kind of stood there and watched. And instead, he didn't. He instantly flipped, that switch and turned into a football player and said, "You are not going to be the guy that makes a tackle. I'm going to keep you away from my guy." So I like that. I think that kind of stuff is important. Um, and this clip here, this next one is similar, and it's actually the same game. So he's going to have a teammate pick the ball off here, and he was actually on a blitz, and he's worked his way to over here. And again, so you'll see him notice, gets hands on this guy and says, "Oh, you're a lineman. You're not going to be there in time to make the tackle. Let me go find the most important guy." So he's over here pushing the guy at the goal line, making sure that, the path is clear for his teammate to score. I love that stuff, man. Like, one, he shows how smart he is by just even understanding that, like, hey, I'm not here to look busy. Like, I'm here to actually get the job done. So he leaves the offensive lineman to go find somebody else that's more of a threat. And again, not to mention to be selfless enough to, turn into a blocker for your teammate and not just throw a hand up. And, I've seen plenty of guys do it. And if you guys look for that kind of stuff, you'll see it too, where sometimes there's, there's almost like fake, excitement or celebration for somebody else. Meanwhile, they want the pick, they want the shine and the glory. You're not going to get that with this kid. This is a football player, man, and he's very unselfish. I honestly, I was so surprised, and so I don't want to say surprised. That's probably the wrong word, because that would insinuate that I had like different, um, maybe different thoughts towards him. But it was so refreshing to watch him and the way he plays. It's, I mean, and I watched a couple of games before the draft, and I liked him, but depends on what games you choose. Like, you're not really going to get the full picture unless you watch, like the whole thing. And even then, I'm sure I'm missing things, that happened, like the year before, and to like truly understand his growth. But I have to say, like, his 2025, like, I love this player. He's an absolutely perfect fit for where the Dolphins are at and what they're trying to accomplish. And again, to take the words from Sully, like, don't get me wrong, like, the kid can play. It's not just about, oh, he's a great kid and this and that. Like, no, no, this dude can play, like, for real. So here we'll go on. We'll watch. So here he's on a blitz here. Good effort. Jumps over somebody that's laying down, and ends up getting involved in the tackle just at the end. Again, just another one where I'm like, he could have been like right here. He could have, kind of could have just been like, ooh, I'm not jumping that. Who knows where I'm gonna land and end up, and blah blah blah. But no, I'm telling you, this kid, he plays whistle to whistle. You're gonna love what you see out of this kid as we go further through this breakdown. Just, oh, really fun. Okay, so shifting gears here, we are going to now start looking at some blitzing. And he didn't do it a lot, okay? Probably a handful of times, at least that I saw. Again, I'm missing 2 games, so I'm working with what I do have at my disposal. Um, but again, from a blitzing standpoint, again, just I would say he checks that box. Like, you see him here, he's in his stance. There's no giveaway, there's no tell, there's no nothing that he's coming here, right? where sometimes if you watch players like, you can pick up on mannerisms and little things that'll say like, hey, he's coming, he's antsy, he keeps, looking over here where he normally doesn't. Those are the kind of things that the really good players will tell you they absolutely matter and they look for them. So here again, you're gonna watch him. The running back ends up out in a pass pattern, so he's not there to pass protect, and he puts a good shot on the quarterback. I mean, that, like, as the quarterback's releasing, he ends up getting right underneath, right into that rib area, armpit area, man. And I tell you what, for a quarterback, that stings. Like, that's not the shot that they want to take with an open rib cage. And again, nothing dirty there, just a good, clean, solid football play and hit. And again, like, I would say that that's a positive. And then you also end up with an incompletion here. So I'm not sure if that was where he wanted to go or he felt rushed. Um, but yeah, I mean, he took a good hit. We'll see it here from this angle. Boom. Again, like, those add up. So that's a nice play from a corner. So here we are again. You get him on the short side of the field, right? Where if the ball was like over here, you're probably not sending that guy because it's just too far of a path for him to travel and get there and actually, make a difference in the play. So you get him on the short side here, and we'll watch again. And he's kind of creeping, kind of playing around with his his coverage and his stance. And again, right there though, like, there's nothing saying that he's coming. Running back kind of comes over to pick him up, and instead the quarterback ends up bailing out and rolling to Chris Johnson's side. And being the athlete that he is, he's able to change his direction and go and just finish the play. Again, awesome. So again, for a guy that doesn't do a whole lot of blitzing, I mean, he does it very well. It's again the biggest things is pre-snap. You don't want to give it away, which he doesn't do, and then two, you want to make sure that you're timing it and getting home. And every time that he does, like, it's usually a good thing. Again, this is that play here that his teammate picks off and he turns into a blocker. So this is the other angle here. So just overall good effort. There he got picked up by the running back though. And then last one here. This is another blitz from the short side of the field. Shoots inside. Quarterback's got to get rid of it and ends up being complete. But again, with another just nice lick on the quarterback. Boom, right underneath. Looks like either helmet or something, ended up right in the rib cage, which is exactly what you want to do. And again, nothing dirty, nothing that would garner a flag or anything of that nature. Just timed it beautifully, beat the guy inside, puts a good hit on the quarterback, and yeah, man, like I said, so for me, like, I know that Jeff Affley's going to see that and says, "Oh, you didn't do a lot of that. Well, you're going to do a lot more of it, when you end up when you end up playing for me." Because I mean, and that's saying, Hafley's not even a big blitzer, right? Like, I talked about that in the episode 2 of the podcast that I have started. But Hafley in the Green Bay, for Green Bay, and only blitzed, like, they were the 27th most in the NFL. So again, not a whole lot of blitzing. He doesn't like to actually send pressure. He just likes to kind of make it look like he's sending guys. But I could see, when you get a player like this, you definitely want the other team to actually, to think about it and worry about it. So I do, especially with his inside outside versatility, where more teams like to, or more defenses will blitz from the nickel. Um, so again, it's just something I could definitely see Hafley liking about his game and wanting to do a little bit more often. So here now we'll kind of flip and move along to tackling, right? So you get him in kind of some open space here, and again, just full transparency. I was surprised at how much I really liked his tackling. He's very technically sound. It's not that I like didn't think he could, but I don't know. It was just something that I didn't see a ton of when I had watched, before the draft, and when you watch the whole season and you realize like just how good he is. Pretty awesome. I mean, the pick got even better for me once I watched this. Um, I think in his career he only had 4 missed tackles the entire time. So yeah, that's a pretty good number. Now you watch this too, right? He's not going to be involved in the tackle in this play per se, but this is what he brings to the table. Again, you want to talk about a guy, right? And this is kind of what Halfley and Sully have talked about, like playing till the whistle, like, I mean, just being nasty and physical. And, I think like going to put your face mask in somebody, right? Those kinds of things, like, that are just showing me that you love football. Like, you're not like, oh, the play's not coming to my side, so I really don't care. Like, no, you play this game the right way. This kid does it. So again, look at him bring it to the receiver. He doesn't stand there and kind of say like, "Oh, boom, get off, come on, you're coming with me," and buries him and lets him know like, "Hey man, you're not gonna run block me. This is gonna be a long day for you if I'm your assignment and you want to run this way." And I love it, dude. And it shows up all over tape. He does this kind of stuff constantly. He also is excellent at getting rid of receivers, just throwing them and getting rid of them. He's not somebody that is okay with being blocked. And to me it's something, it's like a rare quality in today's NFL, and I love it. Here he is again. He's going to tackle, boom, picks him up and drops him. I mean, that's a form tackle for a running back, or for a cornerback on a running back. I mean, it's awesome, man. Look, he's the only one out here, and there's a safety coming. But like, say, if he misses and really blows this, it's one on one with the safety. Puts a little move on him. Looks like he's kind of working to the outside to make sure that he doesn't give up the sideline, which is the proper way of doing it. And then he's broken. Look at the form. I mean, he breaks down, gets low, and then he's going to use his hips and everything to wrap up around the legs, and then just pick up and throw. I mean, dude, come on, man. That's awesome stuff for a corner. Awesome stuff. Again, we should all be very excited about what this kid's future looks like. Here is a play where he's going to end up kind of in open space here and does just enough to kind of get a piece of him. Now, if you look at that play, ball's here, right? And you got the sticks up here. I mean, you're looking at this as a first down. So, I mean, you're talking 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You're looking at like 24. I think it was 3rd and 24 at the time. So, again, they're trying to, they're lined up here to try to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand quickly. And then these guys are pretty much in a safe coverage here. So that way the ball comes out, we swarm, we tackle, and we force him to punt. Pretty simple. So they throw a quick slant here, and he's got the whole middle of the field to work with. And to be honest with you, it's kind of a scary situation, right? I mean, there's not a lot of help. If he gets by CJ here, I mean, he's going to run, and depending on his speed, he's either scoring or he's getting tackled inside like the 10. So he puts a move on, breaks down though, and gets a hand on the on his foot for a shoelace tackle. Again, that's getting the job done. And we're still 7-8 yards short of a first down. So for the situation, I'm not sure what else you could really ask from him. That's a difficult spot to be in. Again, he just, he doesn't miss tackles. We will have one or two that I will show, but again, it's kind of history, right? As I mentioned, if you have 4 across his entire college career. But here he is. This is like a 4th and 1, something like that. I know it's short yardage situation. Again, not afraid to get in there and mix it up. I do believe that they ended up picking up the first down there. Again, I don't know if that was 3rd down or if the next play is 4th down. But again, just highlighting the fact that he's physical. I mean, look at the way he attacks it too, right? Like, he knows that he's kind of got to protect the edge here, or at least be ready for something in this hole here. But then when he gets down to it, he gets low, and then he like pops forward and lunges and springs. He's trying to like sting you. Boom. I mean, like, there is some violence to that. That's not just I'm gonna wrap him up and hope that he goes down. Like, he's trying to hit you. Same thing here, except he's got a little bit more of the edge responsibility. Full speed. Obviously had some help there, but still a good job backside doing his part. making sure that this thing doesn't end up in the end zone. A lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. Here he is out here on the edge. Now, this is a missed tackle, and it's fairly easy to see why, right? He plays this a little bit too much to the inside here. He should be a little bit further outside. He should have worked his way around just over here and tried to hit that outside leg of the running back. And that way, if he missed and the running back had to kind of cut back inside to beat CJ, he's got these guys helping. And he's got this, he's got help coming from here and, people pursuing. But instead, he misses inside and gives up the sideline. And that's what allows this to, turn into more yards than it should be and be a 12, 13-yard run for a first down. And he knows it. He knows it. I'm sure that was an easy one where he could have corrected it right on the spot and probably in tape just said, won't happen again. So again, just watch it one more time, Again, that is one of 4 missed tackles in his college career. Here he is on the outside. Receiver runs him off, he turns. And again, I mean, just, it's funny to me that he's got all these guys here. He's got an opportunity to kind of just collectively like gang tackle and almost like kind of take it easy there. Because, I mean, it's kind of like, well, where's he going to go, right? And instead, he's like, no, like, I'm finishing this. Gets low, drops him. And that's kind of a bigger back too, right? Like, that's not a small dude. And they definitely say something to each other right there. Yeah, overall, man, again, just very happy with what he brings to the table as a tackler. Look at what he does here to this receiver. I love this stuff. Like, this receiver thinks I'm going to come get in your way. You're going to take the play off. I'll make it look like I'm doing my job. And he's like, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. Like, again, you are not going to be the reason that I do not make a tackle. I'm going to let you know right now. It's going to be a long day if you want to come at me like that. Awesome stuff. And this stuff is all over his tape. Just feisty, plays with an edge. Great job there, right? He's one-on-one in the hole with a bigger running back with a full head of steam. Look at him. Stays square. I mean, it's form tackling, man. This is like how you teach it. Like, watch, right? Comes up, starts to break down, does a little bit of a hop toward the running back once he makes his cut, and then, boom, underneath, gets low, takes the legs out. It's excellent work, right? Like, watch that little hop there where he's kind of strafing, like, along and getting parallel with the back, and then sticks him low. I mean, I have full trust in this kid that he's going to make tackles at the next level. Tackling is just so bad, and he's got kind of an old school approach as a corner. I love it. Here is a less than advantageous position that he was put in, because if we go back and watch here, this defender here ends up biting a little too hard on this play fake, where he kind of leaves Chris Johnson out to dry. Like, he should be in the flat taking away the short defender. Chris Johnson would take the guy running out and over the top, and then somebody should be flowing over this way as well and be able to help with the quarterback. But instead, kind of late to the party here. I don't know what he's really doing, but he should be moving a hell of a lot quicker than that. But basically, it leaves Chris Johnson trying to protect against the easy touchdown throw in the back of the end zone here. And he's got his eyes on what's going on here with this running back. So he does the right thing and forces the short throw and says, all right, I got to come up and make a tackle. I mean, the guy gets in, but that's a hell of an effort, man. For a corner, I got no issue with that effort. Again, I'd be more mad at everybody else for kind of putting him in that situation where he had to cover, 2 people. One's headed to the back of the end zone, one's, catching the ball at the front of the end zone. And honestly, the guy barely gets in. So, again, from the close, get there, put a good lick on him. It's a good effort, man. I really wish he got rewarded with like a stop there, because, again, for the way he played it, it's probably what he deserved. Yeah. Yeah, again, good stuff, man. Here he is at the top of the screen, playing the edge. Again, another opportunity to kind of just wrap up and take the guy out of bounds, and instead there's just more physicality. Come here. It's like he never takes the worst. He never gets the brunt of the tackle, right? Like he's never taking it like and just getting run over or whatnot by somebody. Like he's always the one that seems like he's dishing it out, which is an awesome quality to have. So here he is again, top of the screen. Got another run here. And again, just watch him, man. Same thing here. Come here. Get out of my way. Like again, just that mentality that he will not be blocked or go quietly. It's all over his tape. It's so much fun to watch. And again, that's kind of what, they were talking about and what they said that they were looking for was guys that play this game the right way. They were looking for football players. Well, I can tell you right now, Chris Johnson is one of them. There's no doubt about it. Same thing here. Gets rid of him. Doesn't get involved in the tackle. But look, think you're going to stalk block me? I don't think so, pal. Get out of here. Here he is on the edge. Almost looks like he's like two gapping here. He gets interlocked here with a tight end. Ends up shaking free. Part of taking the ball carrier down there. Drags him for a couple yards, I guess, but like considering the physics of where he was versus where the running back was and the weight and, the momentum, not bad, man. Here he is again playing the edge. Not afraid to come up and get physical. Knows the tight end's blocking down. That's really his only threat that he was worried about in the pass game. So he comes up, gets square, sets the edge, and then ends up wrapping up down low. It's awesome, man. Like, and again, he's so good at that like lunge that ends up, kind of like, because usually what it is in those like situations where it's, everybody knows the corners and the safeties are going to go low. So a lot of the time, those guys will try to drop their shoulder pads and get low and basically just run them over and go shoulder pad to shoulder pad. But he's so good at kind of like deceptively getting low and then lunging and like doing it before the other player, before like the ball carrier has a chance to like match him. Like he beats him with like a quicker punch almost. It's really cool to see. Here he is. That was on a blitz and he ends up getting involved in the run. Again, still no indication. Sneaks over just late. Beats this defender, or beats this blocker inside and ends up wrapping up. Watch it again from here. Nope. Yeah, man, he's just a football player. He really is. It's gonna be fun. I got no issue with him, being as far as like physicality goes, like I got no issue with him being inside or outside. Where sometimes you look at it, it's like, yeah, he could cover from the inside, but can he actually like deal with the physicality and like be like involved in the run fits? Yeah, absolutely, this kid can. Here he is again, barely gets a hold of him. I don't think that's quite a missed tackle. Not his best, but still part of the reason why he goes down. And again, did the right thing by playing from the outside, right? And that's why you do that. Stay to the outside, force the cutback and into where your help is. Where if he got too far inside and this dude bounces it outside, he's probably still running. It's probably not scoring there. But, I mean, who knows? And it definitely would have been more yards than what he got. Here we are up here. This guy's trying to stalk block him. And the reason I showed this, and it looks like he might have lost, he gets held here. That's a holding call. That should have been called. So, I mean, you're telling me, he's going to set edges, and that's going to happen in real life, I guarantee you, because we know that not every receiver likes to block. If you're going to be lazy with it, like, he's going to make you pay. So, again, like, you want to turn a 1st and 10 bubble screen to a 1st and 20 just because Chris Johnson's going to play with excellent effort in defending the run, and protecting his edge, and you as a receiver can't block him and don't want to put the effort in, so you end up trying to get away with a hold. I mean, again, man, sign me up. I know what he's bringing to the table. Here he is again, going to protect against another bubble. Doesn't allow much, protects the end zone and the outside, forces him out of bounds. Here you got two blockers out in front. And this here, boom, causes a fumble, goes out of bounds, but that's his one forced fumble for 2025. And again, look at the tackling, man. Everything is like very form. I mean, this is textbook. Putting his hat right on the ball. Boom, pops it out. I mean, between what he's going to give you in coverage and, the ball skills there, this dude being a great tackler, and then, the turnovers that we think we're going to get from Kyle Lewis and, players like him and J-Rod, I mean, my goodness, man, it's the youth of this Dolphins defense is a lot of fun to think about. Just guys that play to the whistle, do things the right way, aren't going to make a ton of mistakes. They're going to find ways to get the football. It's awesome. So, okay, yeah, that stuff is all fun, and I'm glad that I got to share that, because again, that was different than kind of what I had in mind of maybe, what I thought he was as a player. But we are going to transition now to some coverage stuff. So these are going to be some shorter targets here. Makes a tackle. And again, just keep in mind, right, I said it before, like, quarterbacks were 18 of 43 against him for 185 yards. He had no touchdowns allowed. Like, that's pretty damn good. And yes, you could point to maybe some of the competition, but that's not everything. Some of these dudes can really play. This is not like he's playing, like varsity high school level players. Like, there's legit talent here. Those numbers are good regardless against who you're playing. So there, in coverage, we give up a small one. Tackles right away. And again, this is an easy pitch and catch. I mean, this is a difficult task for a corner, right? I mean, he's playing with 10 yards cushion. I mean, that's the play call. If he's supposed to be 10 yards cushion, there's not much more he can do other than just flat out do exactly what he did and make sure that there's no yak allowed. Same thing here, playing off in coverage. Sticks his foot in the ground. Drives on the ball. Look at that. You want to leave your feet? I'm going to make you pay for it. Tell your quarterback, man, he better be accurate, otherwise you're going to end up hurt. I mean, again, just awesome stuff. It's a great job reacting to the route, and then again making him pay for a high throw. Awesome, dude. And he's fired up about it, as he should be. Watch it from this angle here. I know it's a little tough. This is the part of the all-22 that stinks. Sometimes their main focus is on what's going on by the quarterback in the box, so sometimes they're late to get back outside. Here he is in the nickel, playing inside. Again, square to the line. The feet are excellent. Just a quick slant. Again, listen, he's not going to never give up catches, right? But overall, it's good coverage, and the way, like, there's a little separation there, don't get me wrong. But when you watch his reaction here, I believe he thought that the safety, right? He turns around and looks at this safety and kind of motions to him and says something to him, where I do think that this safety was supposed to be down here and taking this away or jumping it, one of the two. Because again, like with the separation that he gave up, and I don't know, I don't really know where he's going. He's jumping here when it looks like this receiver's going vertical and this one's breaking inside. So I I imagine he's probably doing the wrong thing here. And then, like I said, when you put it together with that reaction there to like look at him and say something like, "Hey, man, you're supposed to be my inside help. That should not be happening." I don't really put that on CJ. Yeah. So, all right, moving on to the next one. Here, matched up outside. Looks like a bigger, taller receiver. Look at the feet, man. The feet are excellent. And he actually got called for a PI there. He got called for holding his the receiver's hand down. Um, I tried my best to get as many angles as I could of it, and as many looks as I could, and I kind of came away with thinking that this was pretty ticky tack, if you ask me. Um, so yeah, I'm not holding it against him. Again, really didn't have a whole lot of penalties called against him either. Um, yeah, I would just say that that's good coverage again. Like I'm not holding that against him. If he does that in on Sundays and he gets called for it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be yelling at the ref and not him. So watch it again. But I mean, just look at the feet, matches, physical. Yeah, I mean, I just think that's good coverage, man. Here we are again, top of the screen, right there with him. And that's probably what he was expecting on that first slant that was run, is somebody coming up here to help him. And this is why, he's giving up a little bit to the inside, is because that's where the help is. And hey, listen, it's a good ball. Guy made a tough catch, and reality is it's 5 yards. If you want to do that to earn 5 yards, we'll let you do that all day long. Because eventually, the pass is going to be inaccurate. We're going to end up with a tip. We're going to end up with a fumble. That receiver is going to get real tired of going across the middle and taking hits. So again, not something that's not like a problem or something that's going to like beat him a lot. Here he is again, matching. Just excellent work there. Right, and he's lined up tight here where, got the whole outside to cover. Single safety high. Kind of on an island. Again, probably does have some help. Looks like this backer though is in charge of this. So again, kind of playing this in man. Knocks the ball out, gets his hand in there. You see it from this angle here. See him come into the picture in a second. I know it's tough to see, but again, feisty, man. Now, I will say this. I do think that is a part of his game that he can get better at, and we'll see it as we go on here. I do think that when it comes to the catch point, I think he can be a little bit better. I think he can do a better job of knocking the ball out of receivers' hands. Um, I think in short area stuff like this, he's fine. It's when we start getting down the field and there's, more high point footballs, like 50-50 balls, those kinds of things. I think that's where he can get a little better. Here again, much like that other one where he picked that guy up out of the air, where we're up close, bail, zone turn, right? So this is not pure man-to-man. This is zone coverage, and you can tell that by the way he turns. Sees the quarterback hitch up, driving down, buries him. Again, if he allowed a catch, there was not much yak to go with it. That I can promise you. It's here. It's great coverage. Backpedal, backpedal, backpedal. Turns, sticks his foot in the ground, matches him, drive, and now he's looking to fight around. He knows or he thinks that that ball should be probably placed to the outside, and he's trying to beat it there so that way he can get his hand on the ball. I love how aggressive he is in trying to get the ball. Try to get you a little bit of a closer look. And he had the defender underneath, so that ball should have never been thrown, but it was good coverage. Here he is up top here. Thought that receiver did a pretty good job. That was a nice little route there. Got like a hop step in the beginning, right? Tempoing his speed, burst, puts the brakes on. CJ matches him very well. Again, it's good coverage. It's just, hey, listen, sometimes the offense is going to find a way to, get the ball in there. It happens. It's still really good coverage, man. Here he is here, and kind of like not exactly a stack, but close to it. But he's got this guy. He tries to tempo his route. Chris does a good job kind of staying patient and not overcommitting to anything. Ball's a little behind, so it does end up, the quarterback does end up helping him out, but he makes sure to get in there and put an exclamation point on the fact that it's incomplete. Timing was good, right? No way they can call that, PI or anything. It's good work. One more time, watch the receiver, try to be crafty and kind of slow foot, his initial release and then try to, brace snap off of it and create some separation there. But again, Chris did a good job of staying right there with him. Excellent coverage. And he ended up giving that ended up being a completion. But the coverage again, outstanding. But this is also what I was mentioning before about like I'd like to see him get a little bit better with 50-50 balls. I mean, this receiver, I'm not sure who he is. He looks big though. Out and up. Again, does not bite on anything. He's not over aggressive, trying to, well, let me get the pick six, just excellent coverage. Look, I mean, he even gets in front of him. He doesn't let the receiver get position or, get on top of him. So now he's here. Receiver's got a hand on his back. And for where the ball was put, the receiver just ended up in better position. Chris goes up, does a good job. I mean, it's a hell of a catch, right? I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due sometimes. And I think it's something that he can get better at, right? Like when you look at the things like, his vertical, his explosion, like his broad jump, like he's explosive enough to get up there as long as he can obviously get his feet underneath him is usually the biggest thing. And then, he can obviously get better at his, working his hands and trying to separate the ball from the receiver. He's got no problem trying, matching physicality. We've kind of seen that like in all parts of his game that he is physical. So, I look at that and I think like, yeah, there's no reason why he can't get better. Again, he's young. And you know what? I'll say the other thing too is he threw up 17 reps, on the bench. Like that was in the 73rd percentile, which means like, it's not exactly common for corners to put up those kinds of bench numbers. So like he's physical, he's strong, he's got the athletic ability. He's also really smart and like he ended up in good position. It's just a matter of finding a way to get better at that last phase of a play like that, right? From the catch point and on. And I have all the faith in the world that he will. I don't look at him and think like, oh, that's a dude that if he ends up with a bigger target on him, they're just going to pick on him and take advantage. Absolutely not. Like one, I think, it's got to be a well-placed ball for the positioning that, the players are in order for him to lose. And then again, I still think he can get better. So, yeah, that would be, but I will say like as of today, right? Like there's a difference of kind of where's he at today and what can he do versus forecasting what he's going to become today. That is definitely something that he can work on and improve on. That would not be, the strength of his game. But I also would not call it a weakness. I would just call it something that he can improve on. And now forecasting to the future, I think he will because of the kid that you're getting. Like he's going to work tirelessly. And again, there's no limitations in like who he is as a player, his athletic ability and size and all that stuff that would stop him from doing so. Especially, I mean, he's got the ball skills too, so it's not like he's somebody that doesn't judge it well, so he doesn't know when to jump or whatnot. Like, again, there's no reason that he cannot improve. Not one. Here he is again. I mean, you look at that. I mean, that one. Like again, though, you look at the size and kind of like the body positioning. Like he's there. So he gets the slot fade here. He's in perfect positioning, and this receiver's expecting it. Kind of gives him a little bit, not a push off. That's just hand fighting and physical play. But look at, I mean, that dude is big. And then Chris finds a way to knock that out and have that fall incomplete. But again, I do think it's going to come down to situation sometimes. And this one here, like I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't hang on to it because just how big the receiver is and the positioning, like he only went up with it with one hand. I guess Chris maybe got away with an arm in there. But hey, listen, I mean, when you're going up against a big guy like that, like those are kind of the savvy veteran moves that you try to get away with from time to time, and you hopefully you don't get called. But obviously, at that point he did a good job there, in getting the pick and basically shielding the referee's eyes from if he was holding his arm down or had anything to do with that. So here we go again, bottom of the screen, trying to run a go, and this guy actually did a decent job of kind of getting at least around him. And look at the makeup, man. He still finds a way. Let's watch it again. It's a good takeoff. He runs right at Chris, tries to eat up the ground. He's got some speed, which is why he's able to at least get a step on him. But Chris, I mean, and this was what was questioned before the draft, right? Was what's his long speed? Can he run? Well, he ran a 4.4, so absolutely yes, he can run. And then the other part of this is like this was something that Mansour Delane was also like good at, and it was never panicking when the ball is in the air, your back is turned and you don't have eyes on it, or you feel like you're, playing catch up or behind. Never panicking. And he does the same thing very, very well. Again, he doesn't like, he knows the ball's coming. He doesn't get scared and get grabby or just run flat out into the receiver, right? Like he's watching his head, sees the receivers throttling down, does his best to not really make contact until he thinks it's time to, and he ends up with a pick. I mean, that's an incredible play. Tried to get a little bit of a closer view for you guys. Incredible play. But again, like my biggest thing is I just love that he doesn't panic. I see it all the time. Here's a different angle. There's no panic there. Again, he could have threw the arms up and he could have done a lot more that would have been more reason for the referee to throw a flag. And instead, he just does his job. He tries to wait until he thinks it's time that the ball has arrived, and he basically just plays the receiver. All right, slows down, doesn't do too much, ends up with a pick. It's awesome. That's a pretty good route for a receiver. Look at that. I mean, dude, Come on. That's awesome coverage. Let's watch this. He's got about 10 yards cushion. Backpedal. Throws an outside move and then goes back inside. Right? Right here is this receiver steps with his left foot, and he's going to start to move this and work this to the outside, and then he's going to snap it off and run the post. Right? See, he's starting to angle and bow. Chris is in a good position. And then he snaps it off. And then look at his feet. Never out of sync. Never has to cross his feet. Never overcommits and flips his hips totally. Stays square the entire time until he knows that that's where he's going. I mean, that is awesome work. So look at that. He starts to open up by dropping that left foot as if he's ready to run, and the receiver is going to take the outside and the sideline. And instead, when the receiver snaps it off back inside and starts to run the post, Chris is able to flip his hips basically like mid-turn outside and then sprint and get there and be there on time. I mean, it's seamless. It's so fluid. It's so quick. How quickly, like, he just snaps his hips back inside. And then he finishes the play. Again, perfect timing. Reads the receiver. Times the ball. Separates all of it. It's fantastic. Fantastic. He can do it all, man. I mean, and this is, again, what we're talking about. Can you play short? Can you play in the intermediate area? Can you play press? Can you play the deep ball? Can you tackle? Can you do you have the ball skills? Can you play in space? Can you play zone? He can, he checks every box. He really does. Some that, there's areas of improvement, right? But he really does check every box for me. This kid runs a whip against him. He's not even fazed by it. Doesn't overcommit. Then I love this part too. Right? Stays square, runs with him. This kid throws the brakes on, and now watch. So he's about, a yard into the end zone or so. Now he's actually going to work upfield because he's thinking, hey, if you want to throw that, I'm picking it. I'm going to be right in the passing lane. Now the quarterback's got to come off. If he would have stayed behind, there's a chance maybe the quarterback throws it to like the pylon and maybe tries to fit it, in there. It's a tight window throw regardless. And, Chris did an excellent job, whether he's still back here or up, up here. But the fact that he jumped up is like he knows when to take his chances. Like they're very safe risks is what I'm getting at. If the quarterback had thrown that, he's going 99, for a pick six. Awesome. Awesome stuff, man. He's so fun to watch. Here he is here. See, the one thing that they didn't do a lot of, and I don't know if it comes down to Chris's choice and, or if it's coached and it's part of what like they do defensively. But when you're up this close, I would really like to see more press out of him. And now he does have short arms. The arms were 30 and a half inches roughly, like 30 and 5/8, which is like 31st percentile. So again, he like kind of falls under the average. They're a little shorter than you'd like. But I still think that he can get it done. Here, right? I mean, that guy, this receiver won this rep pretty much at the line. It's a good outside move. Chris takes a step out that way. Kind of a little off balance, a little bit on his heels. Still recovers though. And I mean, this is what I'm like. This is awesome for him to recover from being off balance. And then look where he's at now. Like that's actually a really good job after kind of, maybe not the best start to the rep. It was very impressive. Right? Maybe a little bit off balance. turns, and then makes it up with great foot speed, good angles, understanding the whole nine, like where the route is probably going to end up, where his help is, all that kind of stuff, and he's able to get back to it. And again, he gave up a catch, but it's still really good work. Here, another good play. Tries to run a comeback on him. Chris has got it smothered. Partial, like if you watch him too, like backpedal, starts to turn with his back toward the sideline, thinking that we're going to run, right? Receiver throws the brakes on. Chris flips, no problem. Again, seamless, fluid, quick, all of it. It's to perfection. Receiver even tries to throw like an arm in there and kind of jab him. And again, Chris is tough enough to kind of play through that, not let that affect him. Here he is, top of the screen here. Look at the feet, man. Look how fast the feet are. Excellent feet. Turn inside. Again, he got some help there, but that's exactly how it's supposed to go. And that's why I really think that one of that, the first clip that we looked at where he turned around and kind of gave his teammate like a, hey man, where the hell are you at? That's why. Because I kept seeing it over and over again that he's allowing these guys inside, protecting the boundary and the outside, because these guys are supposed to be coming up and playing in that area and protecting that as well. Again, just love his feet though. Inside, he's right there with him in phase, trailing, and boom, it's where he got help. Teammate does a damn good job of poking the ball out. And that's how you cover, man. That's how you play team defense. See, even there too, like, I thought this was good work, right? Chris bit a little bit more than he did on the other one, where he thought maybe he was going to jump something. And still didn't do enough, like no flag there for, illegal contact or anything like that. Like this would, the ball ended up going here, but in the NFL, if he would have lost and then stuck both hands on him, they can still get him for illegal contact because the ball's in the air. Now, illegal contact doesn't exactly, it doesn't exist in college football. So I was kind of thinking like that's a rep that would be interesting to translate over to the NFL. And I still don't think that it would, like what he did and how he played it would be an issue. So again, even when, like, we've seen a couple times where, it looks like maybe he got a little over anxious, over aggressive to do something. Like here, this was like his biggest jump on a double move. And that's still not even, like anywhere near that bad. And then his way of like recovering is to get a hand on him. I still don't think that would be enough at the NFL level. So again, I was happy with that. Here he is again, up in press, but we don't actually press. Again, ball ends up down here, but still you want to see, like the ball could end up there and then everything becomes relevant. But that's why we kind of look at what's going on at the other side of the, even if the ball doesn't go his way, we still want to see good reps. And we do get another one. It's a little shove in there. And the receiver basically runs himself, and then Chris just finishes the job. Says, you want to take yourself to the sideline? Sure, go ahead. Again, I actually don't know the rules in college if there's a illegal touching in, being that like receiver goes out of bounds, he comes back in, he can't be the first to touch the ball. I don't know if that's only the NFL or if that's the same in college. But in the NFL, I mean, this play's dead. Like Chris did his job. That guy cannot do anything. And again, like his coverage is good. The receiver basically helped him. Right? Takes an outside run, stutter step. Chris is with him, gives him a little shove. This receiver is apparently not physical at all because he's just getting pushed around and ends up out of bounds. I mean, again, it's a great rep. If you can eliminate your guy by getting him out of bounds, I mean, you win. You win. You don't have to worry about the ball. You don't have to worry about the ball coming your way. And if it does, it's only you that can grab it. So here we go, here, which is a similar play where, right, he's got he's got a guy behind him and he's got a guy in front of him. Except this time he gets some help here from his teammate, right? The one player around the goal line. Nobody was there to take the running back. Too many committed to the quarterback. So here he is again. Like, the reason why I'm showing this though is because he has such a good feel for like where he's at in zone, and never being like too far back or too far forward where he's committing to one and the quarterback like can see it and say, okay, well, now I can make that throw. Like, you're up, closer 2 yards where I can fit it behind you, or you dropped back, far enough where I can actually throw this underneath, and now my guy has some room to catch and run, and it's going to have a chance to make you miss. Like when it turns into a tackle situation. Again, just sees that he's got help from his teammate, stops, and then now he's going to end up coming up and helping force the quarterback out of bounds. I just love his spatial awareness, man. Like I said, it's very good. Boom. Okay, I carried it long enough. Now I'm going to come up and help. It's good stuff. This is another one of his picks, which I loved because this was a little bit of like a scramble drill. Like, he's here. He's running. I know. And again, he leaves the screen, which is tough to see. You'll see it from the other angle when we work this way. Right, he's back here. He's watching this whole thing. His eyes are here. Sees the quarterback with one arm on the ball, looking like he wants to throw it. Says, go ahead, try to fit it. I really do think he tries to bait certain things and then just beats him to the ball. Kind of pushes the receiver out. Right? Kind of gets a hand on him here. Says, no, I'm going to get in front. That's mine. Great play. And again, to me, that was a little bit of a scramble drill, which I can appreciate so much more because last year I felt like scramble drills hurt the Dolphins. I was very proud of what Jack Jones did on the field versus what, maybe what people thought he was going to be, and kind of his reputation, right? And then Rasul was excellent, but guys got hurt and other guys had to step up and all that. But there was just instances where, it was scramble drill time and people just kind of lost their responsibility, and all of a sudden allowed like a 14-yard catch like on the sideline, and it's like, that was just way too easy. Like, we need to be better at finding our guys and staying with them. And like I said, I thought Chris did a good job of that on that play there, and it led to a pick. So here, he's actually lined up like in the box. He's actually here, and I apologize. I actually checked the wrong spot. But he's here. Watch, he's got this receiver. Gives him a little bump. They're going to almost run into each other. Excellent job of kind of not getting in the way. Incomplete. But this goes to show, listen, I mean, this is good coverage. I mean, he sticks with him the entire time. He can absolutely play from the nickel. Little athletic ability right there. Making sure you don't run into his teammate. Look, sticks with him the whole way. It's very good. Excellent feet, man. A lot of guys, the names that I've been hearing, like who he's like, is like Casey Hayward, Byron Murphy. Interesting guys to compare him to. Again, great coverage there. Off. And I mean, you have to understand too, like when you're up this close, right? And I kind of talked about this while I was doing the Daryl Baker review. When you're up this close and you don't get hands on, it's very difficult as a corner to like play lockdown coverage because you are basically starting at the same point as the receiver. You have no idea which way he's going to go. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and you're starting out backwards. That's why, like, when you're up there, I prefer people to press because, like, you can slow him down, knock him off his route, do those kinds of things. Like, it does. It's going to increase your chance of winning the rep. For him to be up here as often as he is and not give up big plays, and while he's not pressing, it's just free releases. I really don't like. It's incredible. It's incredible work. I mean, the car. It's picture perfect. Just mirroring, throws a hand on him, little bit of hand fighting, turns and finds the ball, gets in front of the receiver, gives him no chance. Excellent. It's teach tape stuff, man. Here we are again, bottom of the screen. This is another one of those where I was like, okay, how does this relate to the NFL? Right? If you watch, it kind of gets two hands on him. Like I really wonder there if they would kind of ding him for illegal contact. But he ends up running into the linebacker here too, which I would hope would kind of say, hey, like that's on you as the receiver. Like you're running into the linebacker. I really can't, call that on the corner. But it was just something where, I thought it was a very relatable play to the NFL that made me question, like, would that be good coverage? Would they give him that again? Or would, for somebody that doesn't look like they're penalized very often, would they get him there? But, yeah, I don't know. I think I still am not sure exactly how I feel about that. But just showing some some physicality there in the route would probably just depend on the zebra if he was having a good day or a bad day. Here we are over here again. It's a good job there. I mean, the quarterback, so don't really pay attention to the throw on this because the quarterback is very late to throwing this ball. But just watch how this receiver is going to snap this off and run outside. And then just watch how quickly Chris transitions and breaks with him and then closes on it. It's good stuff, man. Back, sticks foot, transitions, very quick feet, the burst, explosiveness, closes on it. There's nowhere to put that ball. To be honest with you, I really wish that ball had gotten there and it was like on target because I bet you that ends up as a pick as well. Here he is, top of the screen. And how about this? This is not even like, I'm not even really sure, like, this is his job because you look at like the concept. You get this motion here and you get a running back out of the backfield who's going to run upfield and basically run a seam. You have this guy outside or running a flat here, and then you have the receiver running up top here. Right? So again, like he is here, and I think that this was overplayed where like this is kind of wide open, and look at him. He already sees it and knows like I'm going to go help that. I can get there. It's fantastic awareness, man. Like kind of misses the tackle there. Again, not the best looking play from that perspective, but like still, like I thought it showed the fact that he is always very aware of what's going on and what's going on around him. It just plays into his whole like how good he is in zone and his spatial awareness and just all of it. Again, and these guys look like they bid on it. Now everybody kind of stops, turns, and runs. I mean, he should be playing this guy back here, and he recognizes that this is free, and he's kind of already working towards it, like before the ball even leaves the quarterback's hands. Again, I wish he made the tackle there, but still, like I said, we're looking for the instincts and that kind of thing there, and he shows them there. Here we are again. So this is him at the bottom of the screen now. So again, I tagged the wrong side. Sometimes it's tough to tell with these guys. I swear, when you're going back through, your clips. I look at a guy and I think, oh, that's Chris, and then come to find out, well, guess what? It's not. So he's actually down here. So pay no mind to that yellow mark. But here you get a guy quarterback looking at him. Chris's eyes are here and inside, so he's reading this thing the whole time. You got a little stutter step, stop and go. And again, like, look, he's just not beat by any of this. Like, he has excellent awareness, instincts. Like, he can feel when I feel like when it's real, and he needs to throw the brakes on and actually break on a ball or a route. And instead here, like, he's fine. Recovery speed, hand fighting. There's nothing there. Like, you got nothing. He basically stays in phase the whole time, right? Little stuff, and he almost like stops right there too, like, which is even more impressive. Like that, yeah, that like those 2 feet hitting the ground was basically him at like full stop, and then for him to turn and be able to get going again, just great recovery speed. Fun to watch, man. Fun to forecast too. This I thought was great because this was kind of like I've played a little bit and been in this position where you're just like daring him to throw it, and I felt like that was exactly what he was doing here. Again, he's just very comfortable in his game where he was begging the quarterback to throw it. Like the way he's sitting here and watching, the quarterback's going to come back to it right now with this space here. There is definitely like ooh, do I throw this? And he settles down. He starts to turn towards it, and I'm telling you, he is begging the quarterback to throw this. He does not, but again, I think it's another one, and I think like right there, he even looks at the receiver and says like that ball was not getting to you. Like, look, I think he lets him know right there, like, hey man, like, just, you think you were open? I promise you weren't. I was baiting the quarterback. I've had that exact situation and conversation. Yeah, it's fun, man. He like in that kind of um, aspect of his game, like that's where he kind of reminds me of like Darius Slay. I think there's obviously differences in the both, like in their game, and Slay was like had the long arms and had things that Chris Johnson doesn't. But like when it comes to the zone and the instincts and that, I can just see how like the ball skills like are top notch for the both of them. There he is in zone there, kind of just playing the front. Again, I was just kind of showing like this is what he's looking at and how he like feels what's going on around him. Right? Doesn't commit to the short, to the shorter route. Receiver drops off behind him. He's kind of playing in between. And again, like the ball ends up going this way, and it's because like Chris Johnson's in good enough coverage with the both of them that like the quarterback doesn't feel confident in letting it fly. And like I said, I mean, same thing with the last play. Like he's just there. He's like, I mean, if you look 1, 2, and 3. Now this would be kind of difficult. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it, but from this perspective, like if you were to roll out a little bit more, maybe like he might actually have an angle to kind of fit that in the sideline and kind of throw like a safe, like my guy's gonna catch it and with his dragging his feet in, or nobody does. But you just look at like the spacing here, and like Chris is just perfectly in the middle. He can play both. Like he's just kind of always like he just looks like a free safety playing in those positions where it's just like, go ahead, let it fly. Like I'm ready to pounce on whichever way you go. Like to me, it's I'm really excited about like that aspect of like just again the guys that they brought in. Like when it comes to Chris Johnson, Kyle Lewis, and you know and Rodriguez, like with their ball skills and how often they are in their coverage ability and there's like their zone coverage. I'm gonna tell you right now, like I'm gonna predict that very early in the season, like week one, week two, they're like those guys alone will have like a pick or two. Like it's just they're so good in that facet of the game. Same thing here. Like again, just in perfect position, and yeah, the quarterback's taken off early or whatnot, but like again, he's in perfect position for both of them, and he's doing that while his eyes stay up here. So it's all based on peripherals and feel. That's what instincts are. Same thing here. Like he understands. Like yeah, that guy's pushing vertical, but he can feel that the ball like that the ball is coming this way, and that's when you get plays like this where he just knows like I don't need to take that guy, like that the ball's not going that way. It's not where the quarterback's eyes are. They are literally trying to run me off to hit this this corner route, and I'm going to make him pay for it, because the ball is inaccurate. It's really good, man. I think he's going to be a hell of a football player, and I think Jeff Hafley's scheme is going to be an excellent fit for him.